I cannot wait to show you how I took some thrifted items, things that people just didn't want anymore, and I gave them new life, gave them a makeover, and turned them into some really beautiful home decor. So stay tuned. Hey my friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm also excited because today's video is part of a collaboration called Thrift Flip Road Trip, and this collaboration is hosted by Unicorn Dust Designs, Crafting Cousins, and the guest host is CJ DIY. In this collaboration, all of the creators are taking things that they have thrifted and they're turning them into something beautiful, things that just needed a little bit of a facelift, and they are turning them into wonderful home decor. I have 3 things that I'm creating for you today. I can't wait for you to see what I have done, and I want you to make sure that you leave me a comment and let me know what your favorite thing is that I have created. So you want to stay till the end. And also, another really fun thing about this collaboration is that there are going to be 5 giveaways, and you are not going to want to miss any chance that you have to be a part of those giveaways. Make sure to stay till the end of the video because I'm giving you some information on what you need to do to be a part of that giveaway. So make sure that you stay to watch that. But for now, let's go ahead and let me show you the wonderful things that I've created out of what I have thrifted. For this project, I have 2 items that I've thrifted. I got this wooden tray from Goodwill it was $1.99, but the red sticker was half off. So I paid $1 for this. And then I got this at the Salvation Army. I don't remember how much I paid for it because it was a long time ago. And it's just a candle holder. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to turn it upside down and use the base like this. And I'm gonna put the tray on top. So I need to clean these things up, and I'm also going to take this green felt off. So let me go ahead and get that done, and we'll be right back. As I was taking the felt off, I realized I still had the sticker on it, and it is marked $2.99. And I most likely got it on Wacky Wednesday, so I only paid $1.50 for this. After I cleaned it, it has some spots on it that I'm not sure what it is, so I'm just gonna take some sandpaper and just sand it down. It doesn't feel like it's gonna take much to get it sanded down, but I need to sand it, and then I'm gonna clean it again. All right, I've sanded it down so it's smooth, and I've cleaned it back off. I have a feeling this might have been handmade because the little handles or spots, you know, for like a handle are not actually centered exactly, but you know, that's, you know, I like it. So anyway, I am going to now use some E6000 as well as some hot glue to put on this base and attach it to the tray. While that's you know, drying, I'm gonna use this mold that I got from Temu, and I thought I was gonna do this one little mold, but it was very tedious, and I'm still pretty new to the molds, so it was giving me a hard time. So I decided to use 2 of the other little molds just to, you know, have something on this tray to kind of dress it up a little bit. So I put 2 of the little scroll looking molds on each side of the tray. And then I'm gonna go over it with the Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster. I'm gonna paint both the bottom portion and the tray, and it's gonna take 2 good coats. I'm making sure to get in to all the little details of that bottom portion, as well as when I paint the top portion, I have to make sure I get around those molds that I glued onto the top. Now I'm trying to be very careful because it's still not completely dry, so I don't want to move them around, but I definitely give this 2 really good coats and make sure I get around all those details. Once that paint is dry, I realize that underneath the base of the tray, it has those kind of spaces, so I'm just using hot glue kind of as like a caulk just to fill in that space. I did it as best as I could, and I let that hot glue dry, and once it dried and solidified, then I went over it with some of that paint as well, and that kind of sealed that in really nicely. I gave it 2 coats of paint, and now I'm going over it with Waverly clear wax. And I'm going over it with the clear wax because when I do use the antique wax, I want to make sure I can wipe it away as good as possible. And you'll have to excuse the dinner leftovers. I have that knife and we had just finished dinner, so I hadn't cleaned it up completely yet. But anyway, I go over it with the clear wax, wipe away the excess, and now I'm going over it with that antique wax. And once I kind of get it on there, I start wiping away as good as possible. If I see any spots that it has too much, I go back over it with the clear wax just to kind of give it the look I want. I make sure I get in all the little details because that's where I especially want that antique wax, because I want those little details to really stand out. But like I said, I go over any part that has too much with clear wax, and this is how it turned out. This would be great in a bathroom or a bedroom, or it could hold your jewelry, just anything like that. But I actually put this on Marketplace, and it sold within a couple of days. So I didn't even have to put this in my booth, but I just think this turned out really good. You'll have to let me know in the comments what you think. For this project, I'm gonna be making over this, I guess it's like a tray. I thrifted it from my neighborhood. If you've been around, you know my neighborhood gives stuff away, and this is one of those items. I just really think it's so pretty, but it has a distressed look, but it looks like there's some scratches in here that is not supposed to be. So I'm gonna paint this, and this is like a white, and I wanna paint it more of a creamy white. And then I'm gonna use some of this paper. I don't know that this is necessarily decoupage paper, but it's pretty thin, and it's a set that I got from Temu. So I'm gonna go through here and pick out something that I like. I'm thinking maybe this one, and I'm gonna put it down in the middle. I'm gonna decoupage it down in the middle. So let's go ahead and let me get this painted. I thought I would give you a look of the paper just so you can kind of see the different choices there are. I actually think I might go with this one. This one I really like, but the image is gonna be too far over. I don't want it to be off-centered, so probably not gonna use that one, even though I really do like that one. But then it's just got like a page of the dictionary, some script. This would be really pretty with a floral transfer on top. And this is something fun. This will make really pretty, maybe Christmas ornaments or just like wooden tags. I think that would be pretty. These are pretty. So it's got some, there's more script. This one is agriculturalist, so this is more like seeds and whatnot. So that would be pretty on something. Here's a really pretty floral with the script. Here's more floral seed kind of things. Not exactly sure. Oh, this, I think that shows sign language, so that's kind of cool. It's just kind of script. This is neat. Little marine life. Postal kind of look, and then a coffee kind of look. I really like this one too. So anyway, yeah, I will try and post a link to these from Temu in the description box. For the paint color, once again, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. And you can tell the difference in the plaster and the white that it originally was. If you wanted to keep it that white, you could probably use the Waverly in the colors, I think it's Snow White, and that would be a good match. But I'm just gonna go over the inside, the top, and the outside and the bottom. I don't know if the person that had this maybe refinished it themselves, because the bottom looks like maybe they spray painted it and it got on the bottom a little bit. But anyway, I'm just gonna give it a good 2 coats. It definitely needs 2 coats, especially the bottom portion. And once I finish with that, I use my little heat gun and let that dry real good. And then I'm gonna go with some, I think this is 80 grit sandpaper. And I say it's 80 grit, but it's some that has been used a bit. So it's not quite as, coarse as a regular 80 grit, but I just use it to sandpaper that down, distress it a little bit, and get some of that natural wood showing through the paint. Now I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to set it inside and place it down in the center, and then I'm going to use my finger just to kind of bend it at where the bottom portion is, just to get kind of an idea of how big I need it to be. And instead of cutting it with scissors, I want it to have more of a aged, torn kind of look. So I am just going to use a paintbrush with some water, and I'm going to go over the front and back. Like I said, this is paper that's a little bit thicker. It's not like a decoupage paper or rice paper. So I do go over the back as well, just to make sure it's easy enough to tear. And then I get it all torn on the sides. This just gives it more of an aged, kind of worn look instead of a crisp cut look. Then I'm going to use Mod Podge, put it down in the bottom portion only. And once I get half of it done, I set my paper in the bottom and make sure it's in the kind of the right position. Once I get it in place, I lift the other side up and I put the Mod Podge down on the other side. And once I have all the Mod Podge down in the middle, I press it down. I make sure I get around the edges real good. And once I have it all pressed down really good, then I go over it with a top coat of the Mod Podge and make sure I focus on the edges, because I want to make sure that those edges get sealed really good. Now, I did feel like the bottom corner, right corner, needed a little bit more. So I took the paper that I had cut and I kind of did the same water technique around one of the flowers and placed that in the corner. And then I go over it with the clear wax, wipe back the excess, and then I take my smaller brush and I put some antique wax kind of in the corners, and I age the center a little bit and just give it that kind of grungy look. And this is what it turned out. I think it's so pretty. You can stand it up like this and use it as actual decor piece, like an actual decor piece, which I think is so pretty and so elegant. Or you can set it down and lay it like a tray. Use it as a jewelry tray or a perfume tray. And I just think that this is so pretty. Don't go anywhere, because after this giveaway announcement, I have one more craft that I think you are going to love.
We are thrilled to announce that this month's playlist will have a special giveaway with 5 lucky winners. Prizes include a deluxe easy bow maker from Buckeye Girls Lifestyle, a craft tool kit from Lady Red Crafting, a mystery box with crafting supplies from DIY Next Door, and 2 wood craft kits from Crafting Cousins. To enter, just watch the July Thrift Flip Road Trip playlist and comment your favorite project from each creator on their video. You must comment on every video to be eligible. Mark your calendar for July 27th when we will announce the winners on our community tabs. I'm sorry, due to shipping costs, giveaway is open to U.S. residents only. Don't miss out on this chance to win, and be sure to spread the love by following the playlist link in the description box below.
For this project, I am going to do something special with this frame that I thrifted from my neighborhood. And the thing about this frame is, at first I thought there was a part missing down here at the bottom, but I don't think there is. I think it was just made that way. So the only problem with this frame is that when you stand it up, if you're not careful, the glass will fall out. So I'm not going to use this as a traditional picture frame. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this out, take the glass out. I'm not going to be using the glass. And I'm going to paint this with Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. And then I'm going to antique it. But let me go ahead and get this painted. Like I said, I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. I just really like this color because it's not super yellowy, but it's not stark white. But I paint the front and the back of this, and it's gonna take 2 coats because I wanna make sure that I get really good coverage over the gold. And when I go in for the second coat, I use a stippling motion, like I just dab the paintbrush on the frame just to give it a little bit of texture and not show brush strokes. I've got the frame painted, and I painted both sides. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint, this is the backing of the photo frame, the picture frame. I'm gonna paint this side with the same color, and I have this knob. It's a wooden knob, and I'm gonna use it. So I'm gonna paint this that same plaster color. And I did end up giving this 2 coats, as well as the wooden knob. I gave it 2 coats as well. And on the second coat, I did that dabbing motion. Now, once that's painted, I go over the frame and the knob with the clear Waverly wax. And once I go over it real good, I want to get in all those little crevices and all the little details. But after I do that, I go over it with a shop towel and get off all the excess. Then I take a small little paintbrush and I go in all the little detail parts with Waverly antique wax. I don't want to go over it with the big brush because I want to try to keep as much of the white color as possible, and I just want it to look just a little bit grungy and a little bit vintagey looking. So I try to keep that antique wax as limited as possible. Then I'm going to take some E6000 and some hot glue. I'm running it along the inside rim of the frame, and then I'm going to slide that back portion in there and let that dry completely. Once that's dry, I'm going to take the screw to the knob and I'm going to put it in the hole at the top. And I'm going to take this basket. It's a half hanging basket that I thrifted from a thrift store for like $2. I'm going to screw that on and attach it to the frame, and that's what's going to hold, the knob is what's going to hold the basket in place. And I'm going to fill the basket with some greenery, and this becomes a sort of, planter or whatever you want to call it that is framed. I just think this is so cute and I love the way it looks, and I was thinking about putting it in my booth for sale, but I'm keeping it for myself because I really like the way this turned out. And once I set it up to stage it in my house, I was like, okay, I'm keeping this for myself. So I hope this just gives you a little bit of inspiration on a different way to put greenery in your decor. Don't forget to let me know in the comments which one is your favorite item that I made today. And don't forget that your comment gives you a chance to win some of the wonderful giveaway prizes that are part of this awesome collaboration. Thanks once again so much to Unicorn Dust Designs, Crafting Cousins, and CJ DIY for putting this collaboration together. It's always so much fun to see what everybody creates, so make sure you do check out their channels as well as the playlist. If you're new to my channel, I am so happy you're here, and I would love it if you would be a part of my YouTube family by clicking that subscribe button and click the bell button so that you don't miss any of my videos. And I would love it if everyone would give this video a thumbs up, because every time you interact with my video, it does help me out with YouTube. Now, if you're wanting to see some more thrift flip videos, then make sure that you check out the boxes you see on the screen right now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.